And so let's get started with some introductions. Excuse me, my name is Pat Phelan. I'm getting over a cold, so my voice is not so great. I'm the Associate Dean for Graduate Programs in Engineering. I'm also a professor of Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering. And let's go to my colleague, Srividya Bansal.
Hi, everyone. I'm Srividya Bansal. I'm an associate professor and program chair of the software engineering program within the School of Computing and Augmented Intelligence. I'll pass on to Christina.
Great.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining, or I guess good evening if you're listening in from around the world. So I'm Christina Sebring. I'm the manager lead for Sky Advising. So I oversee advising on both our Poly and Tempe campuses. Roxy is not on this morning, but she's another manager within Sky. So you may hear or interact with her. And then Bonnie.
Hi, I'm Bonnie. I'll be your advisor. I'm a software engineering advisor out of Poly.
All
We
right.
also have two students with us today, Pankti and Samba. Maybe they can introduce themselves.
Hi everyone, good morning. I am Pankti Mehta and I recently graduated from ASU and I'm currently working in Amazon. So hi everyone.
Hi everyone, so my name is Sambhav. I am a final year student and I am pursuing a master's in software engineering from Arizona State University as well. So yeah, good morning.
Well, welcome to both of you and welcome to everybody. So we have a few general slides that we're going to talk about first that I'll talk about, and then we'll get down to what we really want to talk about, which is of course about software engineering. First of all, a little bit about geography. I think probably maybe all of you already know that we're in the state of Arizona. We're right next to California, so we're nearby, lots of interesting places. The Metro Phoenix area is of course very, very large, and the software engineering program is at the Polytechnic campus. And so engineering is spread across two campuses, one in Tempe and at the Polytechnic campus. And so, what's special about Arizona and Phoenix? Well, there's a lot going on. And so Phoenix is the 5th largest city in the state of Arizona, is adding many, many new jobs, as you can see here. There has been an incredible amount of investment in the state recently, especially in semiconductor manufacturing. And in fact, this is driving a kind of a renaissance in manufacturing overall in the Phoenix area. So why ASU? Well, we've been considered #1 for innovation now for many, many years. And of course, that puts us ahead of places like MIT and Stanford. And a lot of this is driven by our ASU charter. And so a lot of this is about whom it includes and helping people succeed. So we want to make sure that you are successful here at ASU and beyond after you graduate. But people often ask us about, well, why are we, what makes us innovative? Well, I'll give you an example. So we have a collaboration now with OpenAI. And of course, that's the company that produces ChatGPT. We're the first and only university right now that has this kind of arrangement or partnership with OpenAI. So this could really profoundly affect your education. So the schools of engineering at ASU, it's vast, it's very large. It consists of many, many, many schools, as you can see here. In terms of software engineering, you're part of the School of Computing and Augmented Intelligence, which is also what we call SKY for short. So, but you're just part of several communities, right? So there's the ASU community, there's the Fulton Schools of Engineering community, there's plus the 8 schools within the Fulton schools. And of course, once again, Sky is the home of software engineering. And Fulton Schools offers lots of resources. Very importantly, we have a dedicated engineering career center. We offer research experiences for students who are either doing a thesis or not doing a thesis at the master's level. If you're an entrepreneur, we have many, many resources for that, as well as beyond the classroom, like student orgs and student government. And with that, I'll turn the floor over.
So software engineering is based out at our ASU Polytechnic campus. So traffic can be 40 minutes to an hour, kind of depends a little bit. But on the next, it is smaller than Tempe, I guess is what we say. It is much more, there's a lot of wildlife. We get to see bunnies and other things on the daily. So it's really nice. It's very peaceful. So it's not in the middle of the city like Tempe. So it's great. It's got unique architecture. It's on an old Air Force base, actually right next to one of the airports in Phoenix. But there is some housing options. And then there's an ASU shuttle that runs every 15 minutes. I believe Dr. Bonzel has used it before. Some other staff at ASU I know take it almost daily. So it's reliable. They're comfortable. They have Wi-Fi. So ASU does everything possible to make it really easy for you to get between the Tempe and Polytechnic campuses, because we know that Tempe is still the hub, although Poly is a nice, I don't know, we are all partial to the Poly campus, so we love it out there. Oh, and that's just a picture of the shuttle. So those are the buses. They're really nice, tour bus style, very comfortable. And then with that, I'll hand it over to Dr. Bonzel.
Right. I'll share my screen. If you can give me. All right, give me 1 minute over here. I'll just start the slideshow quickly.
While she's doing that, want to point out, if you have any questions after the presentation, by all means, please put your questions into the Q&A. All right, so not into the chat, but please type your questions into the Q&A function, and then we're going to go through those questions after we finish our presentations.
All right. Thank you. And so once again, welcome to this webinar. And first of all, I want to congratulate all of you for getting admitted into the software engineering program. So I'm Srividya Bansal. I'm the current program chair for both the undergraduate and graduate software engineering programs. I've been with ASU for over 13 years now. And like Dr. Phelan already mentioned, software engineering program is housed within the School of Computing and Augmented Intelligence, the acronym. We go with the acronym SKY. So now my portion of the talk, I'll just focus specifically on software engineering at the Poly campus. The picture that you see over here on this slide is the buildings where we are housed. And like Christina already gave you a little bit of an intro of our campus, it is definitely much smaller than Tempe, but then that also gives us the more closer interactions with students, and it's quieter, more closer to nature, and yes, I am biased towards the Poly campus because I like it. You saw a picture of the shuttle. Yes, I have taken the shuttle multiple times. I prefer that over driving, and it is very convenient. I've always been able to work as well as sleep or get a short, quick nap before my next meeting on it. So next we'll go into we'll start talking about what is software engineering? I'm sure a number of you are wondering, maybe you even applied to computer science, but when you got your admission letter, you found out that you've been admitted to software engineering. So we are sister programs. Computer science is housed in Tempe, software engineering is housed in the Poly campus. There is a lot of overlap in the course content, as you may know, because the basic foundational courses are the same. It's the basic programming, and then we build on top of that, going into algorithms. So to point out the key differences between the two, if you're wondering how is this program different, here's a little chart that I hope will clarify some of the things. So here, the chart is specifically showing how software what is the focus for software engineering. On the axis below, on the x-axis, you see how we move from more theory focus to an applied focus. So in software engineering, first of all, our focus is more applied. So the entire program, the degree program, is designed with a focus on building software, all aspects of the life cycle of software development, starting from requirements engineering, design, implementation, testing, verification and validation, deployment and maintenance of software. So our focus is on all of these aspects along, with the application, because you're obviously, it's being applied to a certain domain and you're building software for a certain domain typically. So again, to differentiate it from computer science is broader, right? Where you, where the students get exposure to all of the broad areas of computer science, including software engineering, which is one sub field in there. So as you can see, so the computer science might have a higher focus on the theoretical aspects of computer hardware and architecture, organizational issues. Of course, there will be some software methods and technology. So that's where we will, our our commonalities would be, or we'll have common courses, but then there's application technologies, system infrastructure. So the key difference being computer science is more theoretical oriented. If you're more interested in research and want to delve deeper into algorithmic aspects of some of these different sub areas of computer science, and then that's the degree program. Whereas if you're more focused on on an industry job in in software development, then the software engineering program is preparing you exactly for that. Our goal is to prepare industry-ready software engineers from day one. So the moment you graduate from the program, our goal is you should be able to, contribute in the industry. So we are focused on giving you exposure and hands-on learning with the latest tools that the software industry uses. And we have industry partners that we collaborate with. So, we are able to keep our curriculum updated and current. So, that's a little bit to give you a sense for, what is software engineering. So all of our courses are project-based programming. You're going to be doing a lot of programming projects that you could then put on your resumes and showcase to prospective future employers. It's a team-based. There's a lot of teamwork because that's what software engineering is all about. In the future, you will be working in teams. And very hands-on. So that's a little bit to start out with. What is it that you can expect? A little bit about our group. Again, we're a smaller group. We are 12 faculty, and our all of our research interests are very applied in nature, with applications in web, mobile apps, agile and open source software development, semantic computing, knowledge representation, machine learning, AI, HCI, and embedded systems. Again, because we are a smaller group, we we interact very closely with our students and like to get to know our students and engage with them. A little bit about the program outcomes. So you already have undergraduate degrees in some kind of a computing discipline. Now our goal with this master's degree is to basically provide you with a higher level of technical competence, design, communication and team skills, as well as teach professionalism and perspective in the software engineering industry. So those are our outcomes. A little bit about the program structure. This information is also available in the handbook, which is, I've posted the link here, and we'll post it in the chat window as well later. But basically, the program structure, the way it works is, in the first year, you'd be focusing on the core courses. There are 3 core courses that you have to take, and these are again preparing you for the degree program, and the courses that you will be taking in the future. So the courses are advanced algorithms and data structures, different languages and programming paradigms, and then advanced software engineering. So these are the 3 courses that you would be required to take in the first year. Then you have to take 2 courses specifically that are software engineering electives. So these are the courses that will focus on either software design, software requirements, project management, software verification and validation, or software agility. So we have a set of 6 courses, and you get to choose 2 from them. And these are offered between Tempe and Poly campuses. Like I said, some of them are the CSE prefix are the common courses that we have between the computer science and software engineering degree programs. Then you will have 3 or 4 courses of additional electives that you can take. And then there are some different options you have over here. One of them can be a CS course. So this is where if there's a very specific a CS application oriented course that you're interested in, for example, you're interested in data mining very specifically, and we don't offer a data mining class, then you can choose a CS class. Or say you're interested in cybersecurity, then you're able to choose one of those electives. And then there are a few other, the rest will be software engineering level classes. And we have a list of electives that we offer, which is also available on our Sky website. And then finally, the culminating experience, before you graduate. So you have 2 options for the culminating experience, which is, what you do in your final semester here. It's either an individual thesis. So this is, it's a more research oriented, and you work one-on-one with a faculty advisor on a research project, and it's basically, and you write your thesis. So this is a good option for those of you who are inclined towards research, maybe thinking about a PhD in the future, not so sure about it, want to try out and see how research feels, or even just want a differentiator on your resume because, everyone else might have, graduating from the program might have the same kind of coursework and projects on their resume. Having a thesis then gives you some additional talking points when you're interviewing. But then the second option is the capstone project, which is also a great option for those of you who are interested in working in the software industry after you graduate. So it really prepares you for that. You work on a team project, so you're working with a team on a full, software life cycle. You start out with a project. There is typically you might have an industry client or a client from within ASU who gives you a problem that you have to design for and build the software. So that kind of gives you a taste for how your career might look moving forward into the industry, because you're getting that real industry-like experience through the project. So again, I know this is a lot of information. I wanted to give you a high level so you have a sense for what kind of coursework you're going to be doing with us, but then the details are available in the handbook for you to review. And then finally, career choices. I know a lot of you might be thinking about internships, full-time jobs. What does that look like? We've had great success stories for our students, wonderful career choices here in the Valley. And you see, I'm sure on this slide, I'm showing you the logos of where some of our students are working. They've had internship opportunities from here, as well as full-time job opportunities. And in terms of job opportunities, both CS and software engineering students basically have these same employers. They're looking to hire both of them. Another thing I want to point out, if you look at a lot of the job ads, most of the job ads are looking for software engineers or software developers or software programmers, and which is what our degree program is preparing you for. And like I said, most of these companies are hiring students from both of the degree programs. There's no difference there. So I'll stop with that. We also have 2 students with us today, and later during the Q&A session, if you have specific questions about internships and full-time job opportunities, they can give you their comments and their experiences. They can talk about that. All right, I'll turn it over to you, Christina. Thank you.
Perfect. Would be easier if I just share. I have it up.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay. Okay. So that I know Dr. Bansal just talked about this, but based on our actual data, so where we see students going out on internship and employment after degree, these are some of the top employers. So this is basically the written words of all the logos that she just had up on the screen. So we do see students interning here and getting jobs there after the degree. And there are some big names here, Apple, Meta, PayPal, GM, Intel. So they are Starbucks. Students are getting jobs at top employers. I believe one of our students who's on said she works at Amazon, if I heard that correctly. So common job titles for master's graduates. I'll just kind of leave these up so you can peruse them. But they do overlap heavily with the same internships and jobs that we see our computer science graduates getting. So just to kind of reinforce that, it's the same, I guess, career opportunities are available for both programs. We know that that is an important factor when you're making this decision. And then just a nice visual of internship location. This is from summer 2023. Students did a combination of remote and in-person internships across the United States. So you can see that a quarter went to California, but it's kind of spread out across the country. You know, California, Seattle, a large chunk still here in Arizona. Some went to Texas. I know Austin is a big hub. So there's a lot of opportunity across the United States for interns. And I think with that, I'm going to pass it over to Bonnie.
Okay, awesome. So I'm going to go over enrollment, especially for your first semester, because it's always a major, question that I get in the email queues. So the first and foremost, you should be taking a look at your admit letter and seeing if you have any deficiencies listed. It'll be right there, real obvious that these are courses. It's up to 3 that you'll need to take. They're kind of like prerequisites, but they're conditional admission. So you were admitted with these deficiencies, but we give you an opportunity to clear them here, which some students I've talked to previously have said that other schools don't give that opportunity. So I know it might be a little, oh, I'd have to take this other class, but at least you have the opportunity to still be in the program and take that course here. So these should be your priority. I always tell students, enroll in your deficiencies. Even if you think you might do a waiver, enroll in them now. Those fill up way faster than your core courses will. If you have deficiencies or you don't have deficiencies, your other options to fill out the rest, or your other required options to fill out the rest of your enrollment for the first semester for fall, is going to be SCR 501 and SCR 515, which Dr. Benzal went over as part of your core required courses. Those are only offered in the fall, so it's really important that you get those in that first semester, unless you have deficiencies, which we'll talk about later. And then electives. So if you still have room, then you can put in an elective. We suggest putting in a required elective just because you want to make sure that you get those requirements in and not have to scramble to figure out getting them in at the end of the program, which we've seen as well. As far as orientation goes, we have our virtual orientation, which if these slides are sent out, it'll be linked there, but it's on our Sky welcome site. There's videos for our orientation. So we do not hold a live orientation. There's a video from our graduate department in general, from the grad school, and as well as a video specifically for software engineering. And then we also host live Q&A sessions as well. And there's a link on that site for those sessions that come up. Okay, so deficiencies. So these are your potential deficiencies that you may have: SCR 222, CSE 240, SCR 334, and CSE 360. So some of these courses are going to need to be cleared before you can take others, which I think is the next slide, and we'll go over that in a second. But actually, Christina, I can't remember what's on the next slide. Is that going to go over no? Okay, so you might be asking, and actually saw one of the questions already come in, if there's a possible way to waive these deficiencies before you get here. The biggest thing we see is that you've already taken a course similar in your undergrad. So we do provide options for clearing deficiencies before you get here. And the first option would be to submit that waiver. So if one of these courses look familiar, you can submit a waiver to our department to reevaluate the course. You'd send a syllabus and more information so we can see how closely they align. They'll determine if that's okay, or if it still doesn't align correctly, then you may still need to find another option to waive it. The other option to waive it before you start your program, other than petition, is to take a test out exam. So on our Sky Welcome site as well, we have the links directly to the exams, which is new. They didn't use the link directly to it, which is exciting that I saw that. So it'll take you directly to the exam you'd have to take in order to clear that deficiency. And again, it needs to be done before you start your semester. And then the last option is to take the course here at ASU once you start. Okay, so I was saying that you should enroll in your core courses unless you have one of these situations with your deficiency. So you'll notice that with having to take SCR 501 and 515 in the fall, there are two deficiencies that have to be cleared prior to taking them or at the same time. So SCR 222, if that is one of your deficiencies, you cannot take SCR 501 until you've cleared SCR 222. So if you take send in a petition and it's waived, or you do a test out exam and it's waived, then you can take 501. However, if you can't clear it before, then you have to take SCR 222, and then you'll take SCR 501 the following fall, which is okay. A lot of students worry that they're not completing their core courses within the first year. If you have a deficiency, that's kind of a different situation for you, and that'll be okay. 360 needs to be taken before or concurrently with SCR 515, which is your other core course. So if you enroll in 360 and 515 at the same time, that's okay. But it does need to be completed prior to those, the CSE 500 series that we offer. Those are required electives, but 360 needs to be cleared before that. And then 240 needs to be cleared before spring when you take your last required core course, which is 502. This is just another overview. Dr. Gonzalez went over all of this, so it's great, but this is just kind of an overview of how the program works. I think hers was a little more easy to follow, so thank you for that. Oh, the specialization. Thank you, Christina. We do have a cybersecurity specialization, and you'll notice that it's a little bit different than the normal requirement. So with the specialization, you'll be, instead of taking all three electives, basically your free electives kind of become these specialization courses. So you're required to take CSE 543 and then two other approved CSE electives. If you look in the handbook or on our check sheets that are on our welcome page, you'll see all of these options kind of laid out for you. You'll still do either a capstone or a thesis, but you'll notice you only have one, counting that, one free elective for you in that situation. So our fall welcome will be, I mean, it's TBA. It's it's going to be in the the week leading up to the semester starting in August. So more information will be posted. Look out for emails, and we also have a link directly on our welcome site as well. And then here's our contact information. The sky.grad.poly email address is directly to advising. I know some of you will see under your advising, it might have either my personal email or it might have admissions. If you have specific questions that have to do with your admission process, then you can email them, but otherwise you can send those emails directly to the Poly advising email address. And I think that's it for me.
Yeah, I think that was it for the formal presentation. I don't know if our students wanted, before we move into the question and answer, if this invited students had anything they wanted to add.
Sure, so I'll go first, I think. So my name is Sambhav and I am a software engineering student at ASU. So I joined ASU in fall 22, and prior to joining to ASU, I completed my bachelor's in instrumentation and control engineering from NSIT Delhi. And then I worked in the Indian IT industry for 2 years before joining here. So I think my experience here at ASU has been pretty good so far. Like Professor mentioned, so you basically have the choice of picking up courses from electives. So you have a mix of core courses, and then you can pick some of the courses from CS as well. So before joining ASU, even I had this doubt, how would I travel to Poly? But then with the frequency of the shuttles, I think it's pretty easy to travel from Tempe and Poly. Almost everyone who is in the Poly campus does that, because majority of the students stay here in Tempe, and traveling via the Poly shuttle is pretty easy. But even when I used to have early morning courses, I used to take a nap before going to the courses in the shuttle as well. So it's pretty comfortable. Plus, you have the Wi-Fi and all the facilities there. Uh, and yeah, I mean, you get like a lot of practical experience in the courses. So I had a software engineering internship in summer 23 at realtor.com. So I went to their Chicago office, and from the courses, I mean, I got to have some of the experience like software agility, some of the methodologies that they actually follow in the industry. So I was able to learn from that and implement it here. And also one more thing is, I think it's easier to get on-campus opportunities here at ASU as well, because like you have tons of jobs, so you should just start applying as soon as you can. Before coming here to ASU as well, you can start applying for internships and on-campus opportunities. People started applying in June or July itself. So it's not like you have to wait till you need to get here for applying to the opportunities. And just try to make use of LinkedIn as much as you can. Try to make connections. Try to increase your network. Get referrals for internships, because that definitely helps. Because the market currently is pretty competitive, and it's better to if you start networking as soon as possible. So yeah.
Hi everyone. My name is Pankti, and I think Sambhav explained a lot of things that I wanted to say. So one thing that I would really want to share is about prerequisite. I had a prerequisite too, and I cleared it before coming to ASU. I passed the exam, so you might not have to take that subject in your course. More important thing about on-campus, since I was an international student, so I know that it's really important for all of us to start the on-campus job as soon as possible. And it's really easy to have it here in ASU compared to other universities that I know of. And as Sambhav said, that you can start applying as early as possible because it's highly competitive. And yeah, that's it. I'm open to questions, whatever you guys have. Also, if you're taking, just a heads up, if you're taking Professor Shividya's class, then you'll have to have that ASU shuttle because she has early class mornings.
Do we have some questions in the chat? I know I saw a couple about the deadline to accept admission. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. I'm also getting over some congestion. So ASU doesn't, like, there's not a formal process to accept admission. You accept by enrolling for classes. Enrollment for grad students will open in March. So if you are planning to join, the advice is to clear all your priority tasks, get the financial documents in, take care of the I-20 process for international students, of course, so that all your holds are cleared so that you can register when that opens. And that's how you show your intent to join ASU. So there is not like a formal deadline that's set. So I know there was a couple questions about that, as well as a priority task. So there's some repeat questions, so I was trying to overlap some of them. Priority tasks that require action before you can enroll are in red, and they'll usually say hold. And so you have to take care of them before you can release. So like grad admissions puts tasks on related to financial guarantee. I-20 it's related to your I-20. That doesn't come off until they actually send it to you. There's some other reminder tasks like your degree certificate. They give you a bit of time to get that in. Many students deliver that in person when they arrive at ASU, so that doesn't stop your enrollment. But anything that's red and says hold has to be done first. Let's see, so we got that one. I see there's a couple questions about on-campus jobs. Did either of you work on campus jobs or work on campus jobs currently?
Yeah, I worked under Professor Srividya and I was a graduate research assistant. And luckily, my job started from the day one. So, but you'll have to apply it as soon as possible. That's what I said. So, but yeah, it's really easy. So, if you are not getting a job in study sector, there are other jobs where you can have like Aramark, where you can actually have job in um, various restaurants and food chains that we have on the campus. So, there are a lot of opportunities, not just related to your field, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think same for me. So basically, I did not have any plan to do any on campus in the first semester. So in first semester, it is typically difficult to get an on campus in the academic sector. So a lot of people do it in the Aramark. So Aramark is basically the food catering and all that. So you can do that, and there are other varieties of jobs like in the I think. In the gym, in the sports sector, so different type of jobs. But like once you are here and you're in your first semester, say you have performed well in your courses, you can reach out to professors, make more connections, and then you have more chances to get into the academic jobs like a grader or a research assistant. So currently I'm working as a research assistant in the semantic computing lab as well. So that's what, like, you can start applying as soon as possible, reach out to professors, fill the forms. I think ASU has certain forms for getting into the grader research assistant positions. So you can look up online and just fill that and just try to interact with professors as soon as you can.
I want to add that you can apply for jobs across, all 4 campuses of ASU. So that's the other nice thing about ASU being so large. There's a lot of opportunities on multiple campuses. I've heard students working in the downtown campus or West Campus as well. Of course, if it fits their class schedule, because your coursework is your primary, should be the primary goal. The other thing I'll say is typically first semester, once you arrive here and get to know faculty and get to know the programs, I think it's easier to look for a job after you're here. Of course, there's, like Pankti and Sambhav said, you can start looking for them much sooner. But then, don't get disheartened, because I have seen most students getting jobs after their first semester. Once they've established themselves, they've, shown their capabilities to, faculty or instructors with whom they've taken classes and so on.
Okay, so there was a question about the procedure to change courses. ASU, when you're on your MyASU, there's an academic calendar that lists all of the add and drop deadlines. So once you arrive, you can go ahead and adjust your schedule as needed. I will say some courses fill very quickly at ASU, particularly in Sky. So if there is a course you really want to take and you can't get it on day one, keep your eye on it. Students do change their schedule all the way through, even after classes started through that add deadline. So it is possible that you can get that class before the add deadline's up. So you can adjust your schedule as much as you want by that add deadline. Be mindful though, by the time that passes, if you're an international student, you do need to make sure you're registered according to enrollment requirements. So that's something that we even monitor to make sure that you all are okay. So I will tell you, just watch your deadlines. We talk about it all the time in orientations.
I want to add something to that. So not for the first semester, but later for second or third semester, you might have to wake up early to enroll in them, because some of the subjects are highly in demand. So you might have to fight your way through to get into that course, because as soon as it clicks on 5 a.m., you might get it or you might not get it, because there are lots of people trying to enroll in that subject. So, but not in this semester, of course, but I'm just giving you heads up for the next semesters. So you might have to wake up early for enrolling in a few subjects, because they roll out really fast.
Christina, that question might have been about core programs, switching programs. I'm thinking, because in Indian colloquial, course means program.
I wondered, so I did take it literally. So I mean, admission, it's reviewed by a committee. So like if in the example, I know Dr. Budsall, you talked about it. If you applied to CS or admitted to SE, that does mean it's been reviewed by the committee and they thought your profile was a better fit for computer science. So they offered you an alternative program. So we do tell students, if you're going to join software, do it with the intent to follow all the way through with it, because there are no guarantees. If you've already applied and and the decision's already been rendered for a committee, it's best to do so with the intent to finish the program you're joining is usually what we advise students. But any type of switch, because we see it in all different scenarios, not just with software. We have a lot of different programs in Sky. It requires a new application, so you do have to reapply and go back through the admissions process. So, so then the admissions deadlines come into play there. But that would be the advice and the answer if you did mean program, like a course of study rather than specific courses.
Can I share my personal story on that?
Sure. Yes.
So I wanted to, like most of the Indian students, I also wanted to shift my program from software engineering to CS. Because personally, I didn't know much about software engineering courses before I joined ASU. So I didn't know if I could do that. And I completed my first semester. And in the middle of the second semester, I got to know from a friend that we can actually shift to CS. So I applied for CS, but the problem was that there is a limitation of credit transfer. But since I surpassed the credit number, I couldn't shift to CS. But if you really want, after studying for first semester, if you really want to shift to CS, you might want to consider shifting to CS right after the first semester, so that they can actually transfer your 9 credits to CS department. So yeah. In cases like that, you might be able to shift, but I don't think there is any need to shift because you will be given a chance to study CS subjects as well. And to be really honest, after I joined Amazon, I realized that SE has more software developing subjects compared to CS, because we actually learned how software developing cycle works, or how in actual industry how a software developer works, which I don't think most of the CS people know. So it's a really good plus for SE. So that's it.
Thank you for that. I know there are a few comments in the Q&A for you both about sharing your LinkedIn and things, so no pressure to do that, but there is high interest, it sounds like, for our audience to connect with both of you. I've seen that a couple times. Okay, so I know we have a few statistics posted on our internship about specific to internships. And as far as research pursued, we do see students doing thesis. I don't have the specific percentage on the top of my head, but I would say we have a few graduates every semester who are choosing thesis over capstone, but I know capstone is the more popular option, the more applied option over research. I don't know if Dr. Budsall or Bonnie have anything else to add to that. I'm perusing to make sure we get questions answered. I know, as an international student, when should I plan to arrive on campus? So you absolutely have to be here by the first day of classes, but there are a lot of welcome events leading up to that, especially in fall. I mean, everything from international students, grad college, grad student association, Sky, we all have welcome events. So I'd say at least a week, if not earlier. You can enter up to 30 days before the classes start. So earlier is usually better to allow yourself time to get settled, time zone adjustments, all of those things. I don't know if either of you as students who've made that journey have any other advice there about your initial arrival at ASU.
Yeah, I mean, initially, so although it is difficult because you have to do everything on your own, the apartment hunting and everything, and then you need to figure out where to get the groceries from, where to look out for certain things. But then there are people, the ASU alumni, you can always reach out to them to ask for resources. They would help you since the majority of them stay in Tempe. So you might get recommendations from them or know what all apartments you can stay in based on your budgets, because it depends. There are apartments in the higher budget area, and then they are in the good budget area as well. So it depends on your budget really. And then, I mean, a lot of things are pretty accessible. There are, apart from shuttles, there are buses like Mars, Mercury, and all that, which are free, and you can travel with those buses to certain areas and get everything from there. So although initially you might find it difficult, because we used to spend a lot of money on cabs, we did not know about these buses, and later we realized that we can get to these places with the help of these buses. So around the campus area, you can utilize these buses to travel wherever you can in order to get your things. So yeah, I mean, it's just, you can probably reach out to the students, current ASU students, and they would be pretty happy to help you in that aspect as well.
I'm sorry, Christina, I was answering the chat. Could you please repeat the question?
Oh, they were just asking about like how soon to arrive and like just arrival recommendations for initial arrival at ASU.
Okay, so first of all, there is an immigration issue. So I mean, international students are not allowed to enter USA before I think a few days before their course starts. But anyway, so I think 2 weeks before your course starts is sufficient, I guess, because in 2 weeks you'll be able to completely settle up in your apartment, or get acquaintance with other people or your neighbors or your nearby stores or grocery stores. And yeah, I think that's enough. That's okay.
Okay. I'm seeing there was a question. It keeps moving on me. When does course registration begin? So grad students, it'll open in March. On your MySU, you'll get a specific date and time that'll appear on there. I'll look up the specific date in a moment. I know there was a question for Sambhav and Bhakti. Which technology stack is most preferable to employers, and did your previous tech stack help you in your internship or job?
Yeah, but actually my internship did help me, but my courses helped me more, to be really honest. So yeah, so if you do your projects and your coursework sincerely, then I think it might help you in your full-time job.
I think same like the tech stack, because even back in India, whenever I switched jobs, I basically had a completely different tech stack, different frameworks. And here as well, I mean, was completely two new frameworks that I had never worked on. But I mean, it's easy to switch from one framework to another, from one language to another once you have a good hands-on practice. And here at ASU, since you basically work on group projects, you collaborate with people, you work on different technologies. So it's pretty easy to switch in that aspect. So I think it won't be that big of an issue.
Okay, so trying to get through some of these questions. I know somebody asked, what is the sports culture at ASU? It's a big university, so I'd say it's pretty big. I don't know if anybody else has anything else to add here. I know like football games are a big event. Lots of people go, as are the basketball games.
Yeah, I can add that because it's a big place, you can pretty much find anything that you want. There's a cricket club, there's all kinds of sports activities that students are involved in. I think just the size of ASU, because of that, you'll find what you're looking for.
Yeah, there's so many clubs and other things. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
I believe the ASU Cricket Club won the national championship last year, I believe. Yeah.
Oh.
So they did
Cool.
extremely well.
Mm-hmm.
It's how different is the curriculum from the core computer science course? I mean, we did go over that software engineering has their own set core. The required electives actually overlap quite heavily. They're actually CSE, the software engineering series of the courses. And then software engineering students can, of course, take a computer science elective, but the other electives would be software engineering courses. So they're they do have different degree requirements and curriculum, but there is overlap in material and content. I would say. I don't know if Dr. Bansal, if you have anything extra to add there.
Yeah, and I think I'm not exactly sure what the CS core courses are, but they also have an algorithmic foundations
Yes.
or so. But we have our own because we want to prepare our students for the SE software engineering specific electives that they will be taking. So we have designed all our courses very carefully to kind of prepare you for that industry with projects like we already mentioned, and like Pankti and Sambhav mentioned, we're trying to expose you to different frameworks, different tools, different kinds of technology stack, or at least build that foundation. So when you have to switch, you have the foundation to be able to quickly switch between technologies.
What about the student to faculty ratio for software engineering? I actually believe it's a bit smaller than computer science courses.
Yeah, it's hard to some of the popular courses, core courses tend to have larger enrollments. It varies, but yeah, it's definitely better than computer science. I can say that. Yeah.
One thing I like about software engineering, because you have a core and you all take them together, you almost move through the program in like a cohort. So the students you start with, you take classes with all the way through. So I don't know if Sambhav or Pankti disagree, but you really get to know your classmates and move through the program with them. So I think that's a really nice part about software engineering compared to computer science, where it's just such a mix and a jumble, whereas you really get to know your peers.
If you're looking for a number, I'll say the class size can be anywhere from 50 students to 150 students. Again, it's in that range.
Yeah. In when I took SER 501, 2, and 515, we had 204 students in our class. So in core courses, usually people are more, and in electives, we had 80 to 100 or less than that. Yeah.
That one's tough because ASU is a large institution. So class sizes are larger in general.
And also the reason because I joined in fall 21, and many 2020 graduated people also joined in fall 21 because of COVID. So that's
yeah.
I think it's leveling out a bit now, as far as recovering from that. I know there's a few questions about housing. I believe there's a few on-campus housing for grad, but I think most choose to live off campus in apartments with roommates. So I think that's the more common option by far for graduate students. But there are a lot of apartment options. I know even for software engineers, a lot of them live in Tempe with friends and shuttle. I don't know if either of you did something different, but that seems to be what we see happening a lot as far as choices there. There's I think I've seen a couple questions about what programming languages are used in this program.
I can answer that. So we usually use Java and Python because they are more of the general purpose and popularly used in the industry these days. But there might be some specific, if you take a mobile computing class, then there might be something more specific that you would use. But I can say Java and Python. And there's also a question: do I have any prerequisites? I mean, I think you're asking about prerequisite knowledge or preparing for these classes before you come here. I would say brush up your programming skills in Java and Python. Are there any other languages, Pankti, Sambhav, that you want to point out that they should know?
I think the courses that I took, I think Python and Java were the major languages and even I think professors are, flexible in that regard. So since Python and Java are relatively easy to learn as well, so they are also flexible in that. Like if you make a request or something, they won't do that. But typically, yes, it's Java and Python mainly.
Yeah, we were always given the choice to select the programming languages. There was no such thing as compulsory programming language. Like if you're having SE subject, then it will be in Java, or if you're having a CS subject, then it will be in Python. No, it wasn't like that. You can just choose whatever language you are comfortable with.
Yeah, and then the reason for that is because this is a graduate degree, so we're expecting you already know programming and are able to pick up new languages as needed. So if there's a course that needs a specific language, they'll give you they'll teach you that. But you know, the idea is that you're already comfortable with programming in some of these languages.
And that's why we have the core courses, the 501, so that they can give you kind of like a bridge to your undergrad and grad subjects, so that you can easily connect with master's other courses. That's why.
All right, so we are right at time here. I know we didn't get to some of your questions. Really quick, I am seeing some questions about I-20s and registration. You have to take care of your I-20 tasks first before you can register. So definitely get started on that right away. Graduate registration opens on March 18th. That's not the final deadline. That's just the very first time you can register is at 6 a.m. on March 18th. You can register after that. So, it is okay. Software engineering is actually like your core classes, you're very likely going to be able to get into those. So I don't want anybody to stress about that, but if you are planning to join, definitely get going on the I-20 and financial guarantee process. And then, I mean, if we did not get to your question, I'm just going to put this back up really quickly. Advising related questions can be sent to the sky.grad.poly@asu.edu. Grad admissions for I-20 related is gograd@asu.edu. We do have, if you've got deficiencies, I did put in our chat our welcome website for the process to get those waived or test out of them. So all that information, hopefully if you saw that, it was one of our welcome websites. But they're also, you'll get it via email as well. I don't know if anybody else has anything to add before we end the webinar really quick.
I posted my email address in the chat window if you have specific questions about courses or something, program specific questions.
But I think we just really appreciate you spending time with us today, and we hope to see you in August. And thank you also, Sambhav and Pankti, for taking an hour of your time. Your perspective is super helpful.